Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Powerhouse Brand, the podcast where we dive deep into what it really takes to step into your power, own your authority, and build a business and life to light you up. And today I am beyond excited to introduce you to someone incredibly special to me, actually, not just because of the absolute powerhouse that she is, but also because of the role that she's played in my own personal journey. So Lin Alchin, I have got on the podcast today, who is a business and life coach, passionate about personal transformation. She helps business owners and individuals break through limiting beliefs, create clarity, and take courageous action. Now, I met Lin around 6 years ago inside an online membership. And let me tell you, the insights, the wisdom and guidance that she's personally shared with me since then have really helped me to shape how I am, how I show up, both in business and in life. And she is also what I would call the queen of gold time. So Lin introduced me to gold time, and it has been an absolute game changer for me, both in my business and my personal life as well. And I'm so excited to dive into a session with you today. So Lin, welcome to the podcast.
Yay!
I'm
I'm
so
listening to you going, this person sounds really cool. I got goosebumps going, oh, that's me. Oh, Jackie, it's so cool to be here. And I love our chats. So yeah, this will be
Yay.
cool.
I'm really excited just to get started, because obviously I know your kind of background and everything, but for the listeners here who are probably going to be quite new to you, could you just give us a bit of a story of how you got into coaching? What is your journey?
Yeah, cool. I can do that. So I'm now currently sitting in my 50th year. I call myself wise out. Um, but going back to and I can tell you the age, I was 28 and I was fully depressed. I was full of self-doubt and low self-esteem. Um, and I also had great energy. No one would know that I was any of those things. So I was very good at hiding it. But because of the hiding, it was just exhausting. And I heard a saying that changed the trajectory of my life. And that saying was, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so for me, hearing that, it kind of was like a slap, those slap in the face moments of,
Yeah,
oh my golly, I suddenly had this awareness of like, I'm stuck, I'm lost, and I had no idea where to move forward. So for me, it really was rock bottom. And I love rock bottom moments because, for a lot of my clients, they are somewhere in that, I call it the well. And so for me at that time, I knew that something had to change. And basically, nothing changes if nothing changes. It meant that what you don't change, you choose. And yeah, so isn't it amazing how when suddenly the shift was into this, I'm ready to create change. And so from that, I guess, and it probably took a little while, a couple of years, I just met a series of amazing people, connections that helped really shape my life. So build that confidence and clarity, that direction. And one of the things that was amazing was really uncovering what those limiting beliefs were and what was holding me back in life. And that, I guess that bit there, going through that transitional move, oh my God, is amazing. And so that's the bit that I love doing with my life and business coaching. People come to me for business coaching, and half the time it's life coaching because, you know, we're
yeah.
human beings and we are the ones that hold our businesses back. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
love
love that.
it.
And I love with you. So we obviously met through the online space. I mean, we literally live the opposite ends of the earth from each other. You're in New Zealand, I'm in the UK.
Your favorite country in the world.
My favorite country in the world, my soul country that I'm just meant to live in. And I love the online space for the connections. I love that it helps you to grow a business, it helps you to learn. Like there's so much goodness in the online space. But what I love about you is you have taken a bit of a different journey in how you're now running your business. So you're not even on social media, are you now?
Oh my golly. Oh, I feel bad talking about this to you because for years you've been involved in like personal branding and oh my God, and we met online like
Yeah.
so on the online space absolutely holds a great place. It does. I ran an online coaching business online. My half of my clientele were New Zealand and UK for 7 years. So I have been there, but here's the big but. I I closed that side of the business. I closed that down 2 years ago because through creating, and we're going to talk about the ACCA method in a minute, but I actually did, I guess I sat and did my own little coaching session, and I just went, do you know what? I excuse me, I went through a bit of a perimenopause journey, which really made me like I was at rock bottom. And through that, I really developed absolute clarity on where I was at in my life. And I realized that the online space for me, I was not getting the actual connection that I wanted, in-person connection for me, because I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
I I love nothing more than being in that personal space with someone and just having such fun and having a cup of tea and that sort of thing. And so the online space for me was incredibly exhausting. Feeling like I had to show up in so many different ways actually meant that my energy, when it came to my actual coaching sessions and that, was so depleted.
Yeah.
So I realized I am going to be in this part of the ACE method, throw a sprinkle of courage and bravery here, is that I asked myself, can I create a business that is aligned 100% to my values? Can I create a business where I do not have to have social media? I don't even have to have a website. And I went, heck yes, I can, because connection means talking with people, uh, stepping out your comfort zone as well. I was part of that for me. And so I live here in the beach in Whangamata. By the way, New Zealand's top beach, if anyone wants to know. And so I live in paradise, and we've got amazing people here that run businesses. So I decided to turn I did my business studies and business finance and combined the life coaching to then create a new line of business here in Whangamata. Yes, I do still coach online for past clients and things like that, and connections that I have in the online space. But apart from that, yeah, I just run my whole business through connections and networking here in my local town.
I love that. And I think it's the power of slowing down, isn't it? And going into alignment and leading from a place that feels good for you in your own unique way. And I think, like I said before, and you've obviously agreed, is the online space is such an incredible place, but it's not for everybody. Like you don't, I think having things like a website presence is really good because obviously you're going to attract people to you and it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, but there is so much beauty in having a completely offline business where actually you're in control of those connections, you get to put yourself in the right places, and your energy is like a magnet for the people that are aligned to you. So I love that you have sort of really embraced that power of slowing down. um,
Thank you.
you obviously talked a lot about gold time when I worked with you. Could you just tell the listeners what gold time even is?
Oh, so I truly believe that if you sprinkle some gold time into your day, that it enables you to connect with the thing, it enables you, it's a great state changer. So if you are doing a little snippet, and sometimes, Jackie, God, I remember, going back when you had your 3 kids, you had a brand new baby and 2 other toddlers, like, and you were running a business, and then you were jumping on and doing our group stuff too. I'm like, oh my God, the lady's amazing. And you still managed to sprinkle some gold time in, whether that was doing your colouring in.
Which I still do now.
Yeah, I love it. Going for walks with the dog, like those sorts of things. So connecting with yourself, doing the things that you love to do, actually raises that energy vibration. And when you are in a space of joy or happiness, or even if you've had a bit of a meh day and you're feeling a little bit like hopeless, just doing some gold time shifts that state vibration up, and it puts you into a much better state than what you were at. So going for a 10-minute walk is going to shift it for you. Going and listening to your favorite song out loud in the car as you drive to the dentist or something
Yeah.
is going to shift the state. So goal time is, yeah, sprinkle it throughout your days, and it do that regularly, like consistently. Game changer. And we can all spare 10 minutes a day. We can
Yeah,
all do that easily. Yeah.
absolutely. I think it's making it a priority, isn't it?
100%. Yeah.
Because I think,
Consistency.
yeah, and it's like I hear so many people say, oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, but then they're also spending however many minutes or even an hour procrastinating where they're doom scrolling on social media. Do you think there is
I
making
know.
it a priority?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you start to do that, the shift that you have is incredible, and the priorities that you previously had changed, and you realize that by doing these things for me, so goal time is me time, right? By doing those things, you're reconnecting with yourself, that energy, and it actually, for those in business, it's a game changer, because you are no longer in, there's a lot of them out there, because I was one, is work, 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 overwhelm the brain, the overflowing filing cabinet within our mind, right? This enables us just to slow down.
Yeah, definitely. How do you currently balance your life and your business? Because now you're kind of not in the online space. Like, what does that look like for you at the moment?
Oh, okay. I love this. Okay. So I live at the beach. I'm literally 800 meters from the beach. So, Lee and my husband and I, we have got a really cool, fun kind of exercise regime. So during our week, we'll do two like 6 a.m. walks to the beach. So sunrise, which is really cool, goal time. We do the power play, we do the gym 3 days a week, and prioritizing time, right? So there's a whole bunch of sprinkling of goal time there. Then I actually looked at, in terms of balancing the business side as well, as I actually sat down and I went, because on the online space too, you can get easy into that comparison factor of what everyone else is doing. And again, that was another thing for me that I just went, hang on, what do I actually want? So when I I guess, redirected my business with alignment, I sat down and I went, you know what? Yes, there's a financial uh, goal for each year. So that would enable us to have those other goal time things like Bali and things like that. And what did that then look like in terms of breaking that down? And for me, it meant if I have 3 or 4 clients per week, and those sessions are 2 hours each, it's and often those coaching packages are for 3 to 6 months. That those 3 to 4 clients enables me, that's literally about 12 about 12 to 16 hours, because there's prep time and things like that, and follow-ups. That is my working week. And that means I'm not on social media as well. So I'm not having to do all the other stuff. So creating um, not a framework, sorry, what's the word? A business plan that was aligned to that connection. So they're in-person sessions, and being able to align with my financial goals, but more importantly, aligning to my energy. Yeah, because 3 to 4 sessions a week with clients means that prep time that I have for them, and not having all the external noise,
Yeah.
is, I've really found my role as a coach is just really just far more aligned, and enables me to really, really connect in those sessions.
I love that. I love that so much. What does success mean to you now? Because I know, like, when I talk
Ah,
about the seasons and the journey that we're all on as entrepreneurs, like, it changes depending on what life stage we're at, what's going on in our life, our business, and everything. So, what does success look like for you?
if you had asked me this 5 years ago, I would have jumped into, having this many members. I had an online membership, having this many members, having this many in my group programs, and, financially this and that. Oh my God, even that's making me feel a bit, now success is having a priority for my health and well-being pillar, being able to, which you can see in my exercise with, and my husband and I, we this is consistent for us. We do this regularly on a weekly basis. And so the success for me now is so different. I think hitting 50 and, wise out, as I call it, is really, we're kind of heading towards the other end of life, I feel. Still got many years left, but it's like we don't really give a shit anymore. And so what we do give a shit about, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Is enjoying life. And so, going on overseas trips is success to me because we absolutely value travel. So if we can do one trip a year, going and doing, a little, couple of nights escape somewhere, I value that. So does my husband. So that is part of it. So our success is being able to do what we want when we want, and with fluidity and flexibility and freedom.
Love that. And you've got your signature ACCA method, haven't you, when it comes to your coaching? So could you just give us an insight into what that is, what it means, and how that looks?
Yes. Okay. So what I love about ACCA, or the ACCA method, is, and I said to you before we hit go on this podcast that I'm going to take you through a little coaching session, show people how they can do it. So ACCA method you can do as a real deep dive. Like I use this with clients and really uncovering what's holding them back. And that means going right back into the core, maybe things from their childhood or their past or whichever, like really uncovering some of the ugly stuff. And this is the transformational journey, right? You can also use the ACCA method as a real quick fire kind of 10-minute, I'm feeling a bit I don't know why. And so let me explain. ACCA stands for awareness, choice, courage, and action. Now, what that is the process helps you identify what's going on for you in this moment. It helps you to make empowered decisions. It helps you, and sometimes we need to step into bravery, or I say sprinkle a bit of courage or whichever, and then take meaningful action. Imagine if you did those things each day, like a 1%, 2% increase in your day each day, because you're using the ACCA method. Okay. And whether you are wanting to improve your business systems, leadership skills, navigating a career, or you got a problem with your husband and you just think, like ACCA method will pretty much work for anything. So what it is creating awareness on what, well, can we maybe do that now? Can we do that now?
Go for it. I've got my pen and paper ready.
Okay. All right. So before we hit go, I said to Jackie, let's turn this into like a little mini coaching session. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a little house. Now, Jackie, you know the house. We've made you draw the house before. All right. So for those listening, grab a pen and paper. Draw a little house. Now, a house has 4 walls. Okay. I call these the 4 pillars of life. So Jackie, write down on one wall, you've got mindset. On the second wall of the house is money. The third is relationships. And the 4th wall to your house is health and well-being. Now, if we're talking about your career, generally it fits under the money pillar, right? We work to earn money to feed us and give us this lifestyle, right? Sometimes our career can go under relationships too, because human beings, working with human beings or connections is another thing. So looking at your pillar, at your 4 pillars, I want you, Jackie, and everyone listening, I want you to circle which pillar right now in this moment has got a bit of a crack in the pillar. Maybe it's got more than a crack. Maybe it's like really starting to wobble.
Yeah.
What happens, Jackie, with a house that's got a pillar, 4 houses, right? You've got 4 walls and we've got one of them that's like, starting to crumble.
It's going to
What's
affect the
happening
rest
to
of the
the rest?
house.
It affects the rest of them. But which is the pillar that you need to focus on, like priority?
So my one is health and well-being.
Okay, so that's your crumbling pillar, or like just have a little crack, right? We human beings, we can go from one extreme to the other. It can be whatever happens. Okay, so health and well-being.
Yeah.
All right. So what you could do is with those pillars, if you're like, oh, I don't know, just think 0 to 10 and think 10 being like my life is sorted, my money pillar is strong as anything. If when you go around all your four pillars and break them, that'll help you identify which pillar is needing a little bit of attention. So let's dive into your health and well-being pillar.
Yes.
Okay. Using the ACCA method, I want you to now create awareness. Tell me what's going on for you within your health and well-being.
So I need to increase my strength 100%. And also I'm going through perimenopause, the early start of perimenopause. So I'm noticing some huge changes in like my lifestyle, health, skin, everything. So I am finding things that I've always done no longer work for me in terms of keeping toned and fit and healthy. And also like my skin's flaring up with like random things that I'm eating. So yeah, that is probably the main issue for me at the moment.
Yes, and you know, I think you know this. I went through a terrible
Yeah.
perimenopause time, and so I feel you, Han. And that awareness then is knowing that your body is going through a change, and so what can I do? So jump into choice.
Yeah.
What are the choices that you have in order to create some shift within that awareness? So what are some things that you could do to enable some change?
I could look at changing my skincare or introducing more of a skincare routine because that is definitely something I don't stick to at the moment. It's very sporadic.
Okay.
And also look at my diet to see what things, like maybe make a diet plan or something to see what I'm
Yes.
eating and see what might be impacting everything
100%. Can
else.
I add in here from my own perimenopause
Yeah, go
experience?
for it.
And boy, oh boy, oh boy, did I do a lot of research um, on this. Is I went through a terrible histamine, and I went through a kinesiologist and found out there was suddenly, and this was the perimenopause, I guess, kind of almost created this internal change as she identified gluten-free would be better. I had histamine reactions. So when I'd eat, I had flare ups. And so I had to avoid a lot of nightshade foods like potatoes, uh, tomatoes, and capsicums, and kind of like a lot of the Mediterranean foods that I love.
Yeah.
So I salt and, blah, blah. But it was having that awareness and just getting some outside help to get educated
Yeah.
to then make your own choices. You know your body more than anybody.
Yeah.
And so the great thing here with making these choices here for you is what research can I do to get educated for myself on perimenopause? You just said I could change my skincare, but then you said I could actually take more care. So sprinkle some gold time into your skincare routine.
Yes.
Consistency.
I'm writing
That
it
would be
down
one
because
thing
I
you can
need to
do.
do it.
Yes, bloody write it down. And so, what are some other choices that you could, knowing this awareness as well? What are
Making
some
it a
other things?
priority. I think looking at this because I'm really good in terms of like my mindset and well-being on that scale. So I'll do all my morning routine, my journaling and like my manifestation, my hypnosis, all of that kind of thing. But actually, when it comes to health and well-being, all the perimenopause symptoms that I'm experiencing haven't actually become a priority. They've become a nuisance. So I think
Yes.
understanding that and yeah, doing some research on it is going to actually
Yeah,
really help.
absolutely. And Davina McCall's book, I think it's called Perimenopause. I can't, I've got it. It's like that. It's the menopausal Bible. It's like it's
I
so
need to get
you
this
know her.
then.
She is amazing. Follow her. That's all I
Yeah,
say. Follow her,
she's
and
really good.
the experts that she brings on is incredible. So there you go. The online space has a place.
It does, it does.
Um, and okay, so we've gone through awareness. Awareness is that my body is changing. I'm going through
Yeah,
this early stage of perimenopause. I'm seeing these things. The choices are I can do some research. I can start identifying what are the things that I can take personal responsibility on. It's a big one, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And and it is a change in your life. It's quite a massive change for some people. For some people, so for others, they don't really notice anything, and then there's those that are kind of like, oh, okay, well, I can learn about this and change that, and it works, and great, so it's going to be different for you
Yeah.
and everybody. So my key thing there is you do you. You tune into your body and really listen, and that'll help you to take the next steps, I promise. And so the courage bit, we've got awareness, choice, and courage. What could the courage, what does that mean to you when I say throw some courage to this well-being, health and well-being pillar?
I think maybe like seeking help with it. I think I've put off actually getting help because it's almost a resistance or a reluctance to admit I'm in this sort of stage of my life now. I'm like, I'm still
Mm,
18 in my head. So to be going through perimenopause, where I'm like, okay, this is quite a big change, isn't it? It's a huge transformation or a transition in your life stage. So actually having the courage to seek help on it,
yeah,
and not see it as a bad thing. Like I can actually embrace this part of my life.
absolutely. And for some people, they like things like that, like asking for help or going to seek things, or um, can actually it can be a massive courage part for
Yeah,
some people. And if you had something major going on in your life, the courage part could be something that is sort of well beyond your comfort zone, or but it's just that little sprinkle of courage that is going to really hit at its core to go, I know if I do that, this will make a change,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So going into action, you've got your awareness. I'm going through
yeah,
perimenopause. I've got some choices. I can do these things now myself. Courage, I can learn a little bit more. So I can either, and there's plenty of options. I could read the Davina McCall book. Davina McCall? No, not McCall. Davina
cool.
McCall. That's it. Yes. And I can I can go to the doctor and look at HRT, or I can do the natural ways. You can whichever's aligned to you. And the with the sprinkler courage, and then the action bit is like, what are you going to do with all that awareness and the choices and the courage that you're thinking of doing? Like, let's take action.
Yeah.
So what like right now, what's going to be your first baby step?
My first baby step, because I think for me, the biggest issue has been skincare. So I am going to research skincare products or routines, something that I can add into my diet, even that is specifically aimed at skincare during perimenopause. So I'm going to make that my number one priority at the moment, because that is one thing that knocks my confidence in how I show up. Like I've got a photo shoot that I've planned for my business in a couple of months, and yeah, I just want my skin to look good so I can feel amazing. And also, I've just thought of something else that I could share that also links in with action as well as courage, is sharing my journey, like being quite open with it, because I'm more than happy to share with other people. And I know that there are so many people going through it at the same time. So actually sharing more about my journey with this part of my life on like my podcast and on social media. So yeah, I think that's one.
Absolutely. And I'm already thinking that you should be writing down to seek an expert to bring in to your podcast and do
Yes,
an interview. Be
yes,
really cool, because I know definitely attract a lot of females and actually men. My
yeah,
husband, when I went through that transition, like my golly, I literally I would I mine was terrible. I was sleeping for 6 hours a day after sleeping for 10 to 12 hours at night. It was
yeah,
insane. And then I would just cry a lot. And my husband was like, my golly gosh. And he did a lot of the research for me because I wasn't even able to do that. So
Yeah.
men listening to this sort of stuff is gold, because they freak out and they don't know what to do. So
Yeah, they don't know
they,
how to support,
and,
do they? Yeah.
and 100%. And so them educating as well is important as us educating
Yeah.
too.
I
So
saw actually you saying about that. It's really interesting because I know that there's actually people teaching this in schools now, because obviously most women going through this part of their life have teenage kids, which is that's a stage in itself, isn't it? So to be going through perimenopause or menopause at the same time, and yet teenagers are unaware of it, I love that they're embracing this and actually teaching this in schools.
100%. Can I tell you a funny story? It's
Yeah.
like literally, it's quick. I have well, she's now 17, but it was only a year ago. My daughter, my lovely daughter, was, she's a teenager, right? And she's in that bit of a mood. And I'm like, hey, blah, 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 doing my mum thing. And she turned around and she said, Mum, you're in perimenopause, remember? And I'm in this stage. So just give me some space. I was like, oh my God, you are. And I'm like, I've been there too. It's kind of the same, but different.
Yeah.
So, I think it's so important. And I too was very open with both my kids. I've got he's now 19. Um, but yeah, both my kids, and educating them, because if they didn't know what was going on, they would have thought I was depressed. And I
Yeah.
was not. I was just, because the minute, and I did go on HRT, by the way, but within 24 hours of going on HRT, and I share this for those that are interested in HRT, I went from sleeping for hours during the day and crying for many hours to that went within 24 hours. And I started to rebuild and get myself back um, fairly quickly, within a few weeks. And then it took about 6 to 9 months to just slowly get the medication. And it's been like that for about three and a half years now. So,
Amazing. What a
yeah.
game changer.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to the ACE method,
Yes.
the basically this framework, see how quickly we did that?
Yeah.
Like that's a quick fire way to kind of think about, where am I sitting with my four pillars: my money, my mindset, my relationships, my health and well-being, and then deep dive very quickly. How am I feeling about this? What's the thing that needs to change? And what options do I have? And and this is the bit that sometimes stop people, is they don't feel like they've got the confidence, or they can't be bothered, because that's just something that's holding back, right?
Yeah.
So for some, it might be actually taking the courage and the bravery to actually think, if I did that, that it would enable change. So actually go and do it.
Yeah.
Like, step out your comfort zone
Yeah.
and actually go and take then the next step, the action step. And those actions, please, baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps are the things that are going to enable significant change. So for you, it's my morning, but it's your no, it's your evening. It's
It's
your
our
evening.
evening. Yeah.
Right. So today you're going to go in and you're going to put your hair up and you're going to do some kind of beautiful night routine.
Yeah.
You're going to you're going to state change. So there's some goal time, and you're going to feel really good with those actions,
I love that.
and that's baby step, and that's your 1% increase for today. So you're
I
going to
love
do
that.
that tomorrow. 2% could be morning and night.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to do this. Just to
Yay.
wrap up as well, you have got an opportunity to have a session with you, haven't you? Like a 90-minute coaching session. How can anybody find out more
Yes.
about having a session with you?
Yes, absolutely. So the 90-minute, I call this, it's like an initial consultation, because, but it is a coaching session. So we do a deep dive into what's going on, and we might use the ACER framework or whichever, but in there, we, yeah, uncover, discover what it is, and from there we can work something out for you. But that 90-minute coaching session, all they do is just send me an email. So the email, it's lynn@linalchincoaching.com. So you'll put it in the show notes
Yeah.
anyway, won't you?
Yep. So
Yeah,
go
just
and
send me an
click that
email.
below. Make sure you drop Lynn an email to find out more about working with her. I would say go and check her out online, but she's not online. So if you are lucky enough to live in New Zealand and you're listening to this, go and arrange a coffee date with Lynn, see if you can catch up with her. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Lynn. I'm sure we'll have you back on again in the future. Do you have any final, like a top tip that you could give to somebody that is ready to change their life? What would be that very first thing they should do?
Oh, I I think be honest with yourself and just say, I keep using the word human beings. We are all lovely human beings that um, we're busy. And I think it's really important to just stop and reflect. I spent so many years busy, 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 doing, that when I was forced to stop, thank you, perimenopause, because you changed my life in such a great way. When I was forced to stop and just reflect, this is where the ACCA method is so good, is that it really enabled me to reconnect with those values. And when you work out what your core values are, um, and that's a powerful session actually that I do with clients, which I love. It's one of my favorite. Is when you work out what your true core values are and you create a business and a life that are fully aligned to them, actually everything else becomes far more successful than what it was. That's
Yeah,
what I truly believe.
I love that.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. And I cannot wait to give you a proper hug in person when you visit the
Yeah,
UK.
I know.
I'm
When?
I'm
We're gonna.
gonna I will probably cry when that actually happens.
Oh my God. And I'm growing out my grays at 50, so I'll be fully grey. We'll be like, we can have a little wine, we can go for a walk on the beach.
Yeah, well,
We
I
can,
mean,
yeah.
I keep like getting the odd grey. Well, I've been covering my greys up, and every time I see them in the mirror, I'm like, should I just embrace the grey? So maybe
Oh,
we'll
do you
be
know
grey
that?
together.
Yeah, we can be grey. No, let's not be, don't leave it too long. But yeah, let's. I tell yeah, we will go sit on the beach. We'll go for that morning sunrise walk
Yeah,
and it will be, yeah, it'll be amazing. It'll be amazing.
amazing.
We'll finish that night with a wine.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much, Lynn, for coming on the show. Hope you've all enjoyed this. And make sure that if you would love to have a 90-minute session with Lynn, I cannot recommend her enough for these sessions. Just drop her an email from the show notes below. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Taki.
Take care, guys. Bye.